So let's say that we have so someone buys 10 lottery tickets every week, and each week so every week they buy 10 lottery tickets that have the same 5-digit combinations. So they basically have 10 lottery tickets, so they have 10 numbers. And then what they're going to do is they get the drawing, so they get the week's drawing, and they want to take that number from the drawing and compare it to their numbers and see if they have a match. So we're going to have, I'll just write this out. So we have a lottery ticket. Buyer purchases 10 tickets. And these tickets have 5-digit combinations. So we're going to have an array of integers with so int, I'm just going to call this lottery numbers. And then we're going to initialize the array with the 10 values. So we're going to have 10 values that are pre-known, and we'll initialize our array with those values. So we're going to do a binary search. Basically, the program's going to ask for that week's drawing. We're going to take that number, compare it to the numbers that are in this array, and see if there's a match. So basically, we're just comparing these 5-digit numbers. So we're going to do a binary search. And report whether or not a player won. Or the player won. So I'm going to go to the code. So I've started writing kind of a skeleton code for this, and let's just start putting in some of the, just some comments specifying what we're going to do. We already decided that we need an array that's going to hold the 10 values, right? So array that holds the 10 values. And then we're going to need to ask for the week's number. So get week's number. And then we're going to do a binary search to search for the winning number. And we're going to actually, whenever you're doing searches, I recommend doing them with a function. So we're going to do this with a function. So this is going to be I'm just going to put a search for winning number here. And we're going to use a function to do that. What should we call this function? So this function is just doing a binary search. Okay. And so the function is going to need to return something. It's going to basically be returning a true or a false value. Yeah, so let's do a Boolean function. We'll call it search. And I'm going to actually call it search list. And then what do we need to send the function? Yeah, so int. So we're sending it an array, the length of the array, which is going to be an integer. We need to send it one more thing. Yeah, well, the value. Yeah, so we're going to be sending it a value that it's searching for. So we need that as well. So let's copy and paste this down here and just put some names. Let's just call this, well, this is our array that's holding the values. So I'm just going to call this lottery values. And then this is the size. And what should we call this? This is the number that we're comparing to values in the array. So this is the winning number.
So is lottery values his values?
Yeah, and then so the lottery values are the 10 tickets.
Okay.
And then the other value is going to be the drawing value that we're comparing to the tickets.
Okay.
Winning number.
Like simple variable names.
Okay. And then, let's see, so I think this is, let's do this array that holds the 10 values. This is just going to hold integers, right? And let's just call this tickets. And then this is going to be some size that we haven't declared yet, but it's going to be 10 values. And so let's see, well, I'll put in some values and you guys can pick some values. So I'm just going to randomly pick, so we need 10 5-digit numbers.
Seven, 6, 3, 8, 8. That's the right number. 1, 2, 4, 3, 6, 7.
Wait.
Oh, wait, 6. Okay.
Yeah, I'll start the next one with 7.
7, 6, 5, 4.
I haven't heard any numbers from over here yet.
7, 9, 3, 8. You're in agreement. The first one's 7. Third one's 3. The fourth one's 8. 0, 1, 7, 2. 8, 4, 6, 2.
All right, is that 10 numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have our numbers. Yeah, whoever gets a number gets an A. Just kidding. I didn't keep track of who said what number though, so. Yeah. Put these in order. If we had talked about the search algorithm or the sorting algorithm, then we could just sort this and put it in order, but since we haven't done that yet, we're just going to put these in order. So let me know if I miss one. I'm going to move this down to the next line. Oh, I missed that one. Okay, I think that's in order. All right, so let's get this week's number. So let's review what we've done so far in this program. So in this program, so far we have our function that's going to search the array, and we have it set as a bool. So it's going to be returning either a 0 or a 1. 0 means it didn't find the value we're looking for. 1 means that it did. And we're going to work on the code for that in a minute. We have our array with our ticket numbers. So these are tickets that presumably we've purchased. And then we're going to we want to get the winning number from the user. And really this is something that would be randomly generated. We're not going to write the code for that this time because I think we've done a lot of random number code already, so we should know how to do that. But let's just get the number from the user. So we want to do a cout. What is the winning number? Or actually, let's say enter the winning number. That's a little more clear. And then cin. And I'm just going to call this winning number. And then we need a variable for that. This is going to be an integer. And now let's do our search. So we have the array, we have the winning number. Let's do the function call, and then we'll program the function. So this is going to be, so depending on what our function returns, the function's going to either return a 0 or a 1, right? So it's going to return a 1 if there's a match. It's going to return a 0 if there isn't. So we need to have an if statement. So I'm going to do if, and then if this is true, then they have a winning ticket. So this is...
Can't you just do if the function call, because the function call has a value, read it as true?
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So if, and then we're going to do the function call. Yeah, so if, and then this is going to be search list, and then what's going to go in the function call?
We're going to need our numbers.
Yeah, the array, right?
Also need the size of the array?
Yeah, the size. So we're going to, this is actually going to be a constant, so I don't think we've declared that yet, so we'll have to declare that.
And then what we're comparing it with?
Yeah, and that would be...
The other array.
Well, we don't have another array, it's just a number.
Oh, okay.
So we're just looking for a number in the array.
Okay, yeah, okay. So winning number.
Yeah, winning number. So if this is true, then we're going to cout, oops, you have a winning ticket.
So what did we, is search list a function, or is that just a variable we can say?
So that's a function that we haven't written yet. So that's a function that we're going to write the code in a minute. So that's the function that's going to search the array for the number we want. So this is else. So I do this a lot where I kind of skeleton out my code and then I write the code for the functions after. Just because that helps me figure out, okay, I want a function for this and a function for this. So really so we're using this search list function, but we haven't written the code for it yet. Else, they don't have a winning number, so we'll just cout. Don't have a winning ticket. Okay. And then we need this size variable. And I'm going to declare that as a, actually I don't think that needs to be a global variable. So let's just declare that in here for now. We can always move it to be a global variable. So this is going to be a constant integer size, and then this was 10 numbers, right? Yeah. Okay, let's write the code for our search now. So we're going to be doing the binary search algorithm. And so basically what we're going to do, so in this function search list, we have our array, we have the size of the array, and we have the winning number. So that's what we've sent the function. So we're going to be working with that stuff. We know that the function is returning a Boolean, so we probably want a Boolean value or variable that we're going to return. And if it's false, we're going to be, so if it's false, we're assuming that's not a winning ticket. So I think that it would probably be best to assume that it's false initially, like initialize it to false, and then we'll change it to true if it finds a match. And that would be the case for searching any array. I would initially assume that that value isn't in the array and then set it to true if you find the value. So let's do a bool, and then, sorry, what did you say?
I was just going to say match the found works too.
Okay, yeah, found. And we want to set it to false, so we're going to initialize it to false. And then we also need, so remember with this search, we split our array into three sections. So we're going to have the middle section, which is just an integer. And then we're going to have the last section, so int last is really just the number of elements minus 1. So it would be the size minus 1. Does that make sense? Because if we go back to, let's see, where did I have this algorithm? So initially, our last is going to be n minus 1. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to this. So last is equal to size minus 1. And then for this search, we're going to be doing a loop because we're going to be repeating this algorithm where we repeatedly split the array, but we don't know how many times we're going to actually need to run the loop. So we probably don't want to do a for loop. We want to do a while loop. So we're going to do a while loop. And then what will be the conditions to end the loop? Well, one of them is going to be that we find what we're looking for, right?
The second one is that it reaches its max amount of repetitions and hasn't found it.
Yeah.
Which we had a little thing that told us how many times it could go, but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, so the 2 to the whatever. With this one where we only have 10, it's not going to run very many times, maybe 3 max. Is that right? Because 2 to the third. Yeah, so it might run 4 times max. All right, so we want to run the loop while found isn't true. So I'm just going to put, and then we also have our second condition that, so and then this is going to be first, let's see, actually, we need to declare first as well. First is just the first element, so int first is equal to 0. So this is going to be while first, and we're going to be changing first as we run the array. So while first is less than or equal to last, while first is less than or equal to last. Okay, so this while loop is going to run until one of these conditions is true. Now let's calculate middle. Middle is just first plus last divided by 2. And then we need some if statements. So we need to figure out if middle is equal to the value, greater, if our value that we're looking for is greater than middle or less than middle. So we want to do some if statements here, right? So if, and then this is going to be lottery values middle is equal to the value that we're looking for, which is the winning number. Then we're going to set, then we've already found the value, so we're pretty much done. So then found is equal to true. Then our loop is going to run. Our loop is going to end. And let's just do the return found here. Else if, let's say that our value is less than middle. So lottery values middle is, and then let's just do, yeah, let's say, so our value is less than lottery middle. This is going to be, last is now going to be middle minus 1. Because this means that our value is less than, the value we're looking for is less than the middle value. Yeah. So that means our value is in the first half. So that means last is now equal to middle minus 1. Else we know it's in the upper half. So in that case, first is equal to middle plus 1. And then this should run through and eventually return 0 if it didn't find the value or 1 if it did. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this should be winning number. Okay, I think this is good. So let's run this, and we're just going to type in a value for the lottery since we're not going to take time to type the code to generate a random number. There's something. Yeah, apparently it doesn't like having a 0 there, so we'll just do this. That's an easy fix. Okay, so let's first do a number that we know is a match. And so yeah, you have a winning ticket. Now let's do a number that we know isn't a match, and you don't have a winning ticket. So it seems to be working.